welcome to the Inner Circle. It is Thursday evening, the 30th of March. We're almost there. It's almost April. So lovely to see you all, for those who are joining us live tonight, and for you who are watching the recording, welcome as well. It is a open circle tonight. Every 6 weeks, we invite everybody in. I'm going to share this on YouTube, and I'm going to share it out because I actually want to get this message out across the world as well. So I think it's important. We need to talk about healing. We need to talk about how we have those abilities in us to heal our wounds. And tonight we're going to talk about what wounds exactly we are able to heal, and what switches we can flip ourselves to get our body in activation mode to start transmuting these lower energies that are causing this suffering, that are causing this lower vibration that we can get stuck in. At the same time, we always talk about the energies in the cycle as the year goes by. We talk about the human cycle, the female and the male cycle. We talk about the season cycle. And we have just enjoyed the equinox switch together. And talking about switches, I have read how some of you have enjoyed this power switch, which the equinox is, that really switches on that larger expanded consciousness, and that can really activate layers within yourself to come up for healing. And that's actually the next step. So as the winter shifts into springtime, it is time to start growing and expanding and moving forward in that cycle. In the winter, we were holding back, we were reflecting, we were resting. And in springtime, now we are coming into that motion forward, and life force energy, chi, the energy, the essence, your source is always flowing through you. You don't want it to just flow to you to receive, but it's flowing through you. It's translating through your frequencies, through your system. And as you expand during this lifetime, you will be triggered, you will be challenged to grow, to expand your sound, your light, your frequency, because you are part of the whole. There is a reason why you are being pushed forward. We are collectively being pushed forward onto higher timelines, into more creation, because we are solution seeking, harmony creating, loving beings. That's what we came here to do, to be and to practice love. And we do that by expressing ourselves, by, like a master in a concert hall, by practicing and studying how to play our instrument more beautiful, more sophisticated, more eloquently than we did in the last season, in our last concert. So every cycle, we have these great opportunities to expand, to shed layers. Think about the female cycle. It is about shedding layers. There was an egg, there was that opportunity for new life, and every cycle we move through new life, and there's a new egg, there's a new opportunity. And you see me making that motion forward, because life force, the rainbow, all cells, everything moves in circles. Moving forward is evolution. Moving backward is stagnation, is disorientation. It is standing still. It is repetition, repeating patterns. And you are not supposed to stay in repetition. You are supposed to go in cycles forward. And life is like a spiral. It's not a straight line. Have you noticed? It spirals you throughout the cycle of a year, of a season, even of a month, it spirals you through same patterns, through same themes. And that's because that allows you to master your piece of music, your piece of life, like a master, even practiced better and better. So that's why you were given themes and challenges that only you are facing. You have a very private and sometimes lonely life experience because you are the only one that's experiencing your life from your point of view. Yeah, we are part of the whole, but we have a unique expression and a unique life experience. And when you start to uncover your life path, when you start to understand that spiral you're going through, that you coming across the same challenges that become easier and easier to face, and you understand how the cycle moves you through layers that you are allowed to shed, to let go of. And on the other side of the cycle, that allows you to create and to expand and to grow into higher versions of yourself, you become more comfortable in living in that contrast. And the equinox life force pulled up a lot of roots, a lot of things that came to the surface that are allowed for clearing, that can be shedded off, because the more conscious you are of what it is you want to let go of, the easier it will be to shed that layer and to attach yourself, to calibrate yourself to higher versions of yourself. Yes, because if you know what you don't want, it's easier to focus on what you do want. So start becoming acquainted with cycles. And even if you're a male, you're not a female, and you're not, the word cycle doesn't attune to you as much as it does to the female cycle. Even for females on this planet and for males, there is so much to discover in the normal hormonal cycles we go through every 10 years in life. It is very predictable if you start to understand the cycle of life that moves through you. You are supposed to let go of layers, to rebalance, to reset, to release yourself and regenerate. The word generation in your family, in our collective, means that we are capable to learn from the generation before us and to become even more practiced, more able, more conscious with the information that was handed down through to us from all the generations, to become even more practiced as a human loving light being at what we are supposed to do here in our life, in our families, in our communities on this earth. Regenerate means that something that's not working, something that's not worth or not healthy enough to duplicate, your consciousness can make a choice. Do we duplicate the cell that is already there, or do we regenerate and grow a healthier version, a better version of that cell? There are animals in our nature that can regenerate a whole leg, that can regenerate a whole piece of themselves. But we have the same biology. We are supposed to let go of parts that need shedding, that need letting go of, that are no longer healthy enough to carry with us onto higher timelines. We are not supposed to duplicate unconscious and duplicate our problems onto next generations. Yeah. So conscious parenting now has a new vibration, because what I'm trying to say is that even a man and a woman can consciously choose to make a baby, to create a baby, and to forespell, to foresee what it is they want, they wish for their baby to tune to. We have manifestation and forespelling, neurolinguic, but also neurovibrational powers that allow us to foresee the higher timelines we would like to create and manifest in alignment with the divine, in alignment with our spiritual higher selves. But that requires being conscious. That requires being aware of shadow selves, shadow versions, shadow timelines, shadow family lines. That requires us to be conscious about the dark and the light that we carry in our personal lives, in our family lives, and in our collective lives, because that allows us to be the regenerators, the creators, the manifestors that we came here to be. We came here to be solution-seeking, life-creating, loving beings. So we are responsible for further duplication of what it is that we as a human being right now are creating. You are responsible for how you communicate, how you impact, how you speak, what your actions are, because you are forwarding your vibration, your frequency into the big whole, into your relationships, into your children. You are responsible for the impact that you make on others, on this planet, on animals, on nature. But in the first place, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight specifically, you are responsible for your own vibration, for your own healing. Yeah. So before we start talking about what impact are you making, let's stand still and start becoming conscious of the vibration, the frequency that we are able to carry right now. Because in your field, very important that you become more aware of your whole field. The whole of who you are is not just your body, it is not just your mind. You have a linear vehicle, the mind and the body. I always make this explanation. And you have a spirit flowing through you. This mind-body vehicle, this is your instrument that is given to you in this lifetime. The spiritual frequency that flows to you can express itself if the mind-body vehicle is healthy enough, is open enough to receive all that light and all that love. If your mind-body vehicle is closed, suppressed, wounded, blocked, the energy chakras that are supposed to be open on all themes, to be able to express yourself, to be a whole being, if they're closed off, you are clogging the pipes and you are not able to allow spirit to flow through you in the complete life expression that you can and that you are supposed to be here. Your whole well-being, your whole light and love is supposed to flow through you openly, widely. But unfortunately, we live in a society, we live in a timeline where not only our own lives have caused us to carry wounds and to carry blocks and to carry filters, it's from family lines, generations before us. Yeah. So I want you to understand that you have a mind-body vehicle and you are supposed to be aligned. That's why the Trinity points up. You are supposed to be aligned and focused on the light and the love that you can carry within your Trinity. Yeah. But unfortunately, you might come from a family where people were not aligned, your parents were not aligned to love and light. they might, and they could have been very unconscious about the fact that they carry light, that they carry a piece of God inside of themselves. And they might not have been connected to the light, but connected to darkness, to they might have been carrying guilt. They might have been carrying a lot of wounds themselves from their parents, from your grandparents, from the collective imprint that the humanity has been carrying. So your mind-body vehicle is only half of the quantum DNA that is your field. Your mind body is what connects you here to the world. And your quantum being, your spiritual being, connects you to the whole. So you have two connections. And I want you to understand that your mind body vehicle is connected to your linear family, the family that you were born into, the family with your brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents, the family that named you. But the other part of you that lives inside of you is also still on the other side. It is your quantum part. It is your wholeness. It is that part of you that's complete, that is undamaged, can never be damaged, is eternal, is always love and light. And that's also a part of you, because that's the piece that activates your blueprint, your soul, that carries your unique frequency, that carries your passion, that carries your calling, that carries your guide, that knows, that feels what it is you need to be doing, where you need to be going. Yeah. So that spiritual quantum part of yourself, that is your higher self connecting to the wholeness. It is eternal. It is healing, love, and light that can activate and regenerate your linear mind body in an instant. Yeah. If we hook up to it, if we hook up to the eternal love and light that's inside of us. And I'm going to explain you on all parts of your system how you can switch over to that healing, eternal, loving force that is part of you. And a few of you are here in the live right now who have joined me for just a short meditation challenge. And even just a short meditation challenge has made quite an impact, if I might say. It can be so healing, it can be so calming, so peaceful, and it can be so, it can remember you to where you come from. And it's only a small part of what you can do to switch on the lights. Yeah. And if we started to learn how to heal and regenerate our whole self, so we would be able to, as a collective, as the species that we are at this moment, as a society, to be a lot more healthy, to be a lot more happy, to be a lot more compassionate, because we would be hooked up to the light. We would be hooked up to healing. We would understand and know that this life force, the God force, the chi, is active healing power. It can remember you, it can reactivate you, it can regenerate you, like the menstruational cycles, the moon cycles, the seasonal cycles are showing us. Every time we are allowed to shed, every time we are allowed to start new, that's why we have new moon phases. That's why we have full moon phases. That's why in a female menstruational cycle, but also in a male hormonal cycle, we have manifestation phases. We have power phases. where the moon activates hormones inside of us that makes us so strong. It's very easy to make adrenaline, make estrogen, make serotonin, and it is all in confluence with nature. It's in confluence with the moon, with the sun, because the light's coming out now again. That's why we're talking about light as well. The equinox, the springtime. If we start understanding that the light from the sun and the light from the moon, the energy from the moon, we are in confluence. We are in hormonal confluence with the whole of nature, with the whole of the life force. And we are allowed to shed, to renew, to release, to reset every time, every yearly cycle, every season cycle, monthly cycle, if we start to reconnect to the energies, if we start to reconnect to our whole field, not just our minds, not just our body, but the connected linear vehicle of the mind and the body, because they communicate to each other the whole time. I'm going to get to that. And then if we start understanding, and science is catching up on this, that the mind and the body are connected, well, we're a little bit further down the line already. If we start to understand the mind-body connection, then there's the quantum connection. Then there's the spiritual connection. And if spiritual is it's already becoming a word like God, it's becoming tainted because people are putting it in concepts and making it a bit of a linear thing. And it's so much the God force, your spiritual part of the essence of the source of all that is. It is so large, it's so expanded. And your quantum field connects you, hooks you up to the whole field. And the bridge that you have to connect you to that world, to that part of who you are, is your intuition. Yeah. So you have your mind-body vehicle, and that connection is your nervous system. The nervous system is the synapse between your inner and the outer world. Yeah. So if we want to start looking at healing, and I make a few notes, but I'll be sharing information on the inner circle about this, so don't worry. I'm going to take bits and pieces and leave them on the feed for you so you can catch up with this. So if we're talking about wounds and healing, we have to identify first on which parts of our system we can carry wounds, because there is multiple wounds. There is, of course, the very physical wounds. If you fall on your knee, you scratch it and you have a wound. Yeah. So you have physical wounds on your body, things that are sensitive. For me, it's my shoulders, it's my back. I know if my body is, because your body is talking to you. Your spiritual self, your higher self, has emotions to talk to you. And eventually, if you don't catch the signs that your soul, that your higher self is trying to let you know, yeah, it'll start to show up in your body. So don't worry, the signals will become stronger. Yeah, the signals will become stronger. And even then, if your physical body is starting to talk to you, still some of us can be very deaf in listening to your own body and are more aware of what other people would like you to do. And then something in the outside world has to happen before you read the signs. So that is even wounds in your relationships, wounds in accidents, wounds in going financially bankrupt, wounds. So that's the lessons in life we can also address as wounds that are trying to teach us something, that are trying to tell us we are out of alignment with the highest version that we can potentially be. And we're not here to blame. I'm not saying you did something wrong. Yeah, We carry lifetimes of wounds that are not our fault. It's nobody's fault. We are here to learn about love, but unfortunately, we are dealing with a wounded collective as well. So it's not as easy as if you find your challenges in life and if you just flip the switch, you will heal and everything will be okay. You'll find alignment and you manifest the dreams of your life. That's the happiness romance they want you to believe, but it's not that easy because we don't just carry our own wounds. We awakened souls that are conscious understand that we carry multiple wounds. We carry DNA wounds. We carry history. Yeah. So we have physical wounds on our body that represent, that's what I want you to understand. The physical wounds in your body represent emotional and mental wounds. So for my shoulder, the theme, my shoulder is connected to my throat chakra. Yeah, you can always try to see where you can connect your body parts to. It's the closest chakra. Yeah, your body has given you a beautiful legenda. It's given you a beautiful map to understand what it is trying to tell you. Yeah, so your body, your wounds in your body are trying to tell you where your spiritual life force can't find expression, can't flow. It's stagnated. In my case, my shoulders, and then in this particular case, I can tell you that your right shoulder represents your father and your left shoulder represents your mother. So I'm still carrying my father on my shoulder, and I've did a lot of work to let him go, but the wounds are still imprinted there. It is the first signs when I carry too much responsibility, when I carry too much weight of somebody else on my shoulders. In my case, I carried my dad's frustrations on my shoulder, and I was afraid to express my own truth because he was very aggressive and he was very belittling. So it was pressure here and pressure there and a block here. Yeah, I had to learn all this, but I want you to understand that your wounds are expressing something. Yeah, there is so much information and knowledge and power in your wounds. So before you want to shed them and let them go and condemn them, try to embrace them first. Because regenerating means that you are able to fully grasp what it is that you need to regenerate. So I would love a new shoulder. There was a point in my life that I had twice, I had my whole arm swollen. It was a frozen shoulder and infected from here to there. So I wanted a new arm, basically. But what you want to regenerate, you have to become aware what wounds you are carrying. If you want to be able to completely replace it with something healthier, stronger, more potentially able to thrive in the life force, life path forward. So in my case, I had to work on being strong and powerful for myself, to have boundaries and say, no, sorry, you can't jump on my shoulder, or you can't put this here, this is yours. I had to start being honest and open and able to express myself, to set boundaries, to say no, to let go, and to disconnect from drama that was not mine, which is, I hope you understand, that's multiple layers of healing. That's not just me going to the physiotherapy and saying, can you just work on this muscle? That's why the healing modalities that we have in our society are insufficient, because they're not looking at the holistic problem, and they are not at all looking at the quantum problem, because being a holistic doctor is beautiful, but there's a quantum essence there as well, because holistically it's beautiful when you start to understand there's more layers, but the quantum healing is in the fact that we can connect to the spiritual higher divine energy and regenerate when we connect to that higher chi energy. That what they understand in China very well. And even there, they healed more than 800,000 people in a hospital. But that hospital was closed because they couldn't make any money out of it. Yes, yes. That's the society that we live in today. So that's what we have to do. We have to bring that back to the people, the understanding that, yes, you can heal your own body. You can heal your own wounds if you start understanding that the problem in your shoulder, your body, is something got to do with your mind as well. It's carrying emotional wounds, and it's disconnected from the healing light, from the healing understanding, and we're all disconnected from that light. That's why I shared with you that video of the Qineng Qigong and of the healing, the energies that we can only look at in Chinese hospitals, and they don't even do it anymore. I hope it's coming back, but it's a knowing there that if you put your mind and your body in a healing vision, you can manifest and regenerate the cells. It's talking to the cells with the connection, full connection to the life force higher energies, and let chi stream through it, flow through it, knowing it will be healed. Not right now, but it will be healed. And connecting to that higher timeline will bring it about, will make it so. That's healing spirit over matter. That's knowing that the cells will regenerate when you connect to the vision that you would like to happen. But then everything in your system needs to be aligned to that timeline, to that vibration on all levels. We'll come to all the levels. We're only stuck in the physical now. All your levels, all your bodies in your system will have to be able to say yes to that. There cannot be any doubt or any fear or any, I'm not sure if it's going to work. Yeah. It's not a hoping it will happen. It has to be a knowing. It has to be a knowing. Yeah. It's not a believing. It's not a, do you understand? There's hope, there's believing, there's knowing. And so it is. That's forespelling. That's knowing, and let the cells regenerate towards what you are putting your focus on. Because meditation, in the end, dear sweethearts, is concentration. It's focus. Yeah? It's letting go of that chattering mind and letting go of that physical body and altering in higher states where there is only love and light. It's entering in that quantum state where you're not a body anymore, where you're not troubled anymore. It's concentrating and focusing and letting go of the physical, which is really hard because you are physical. But I have a body and I do feel pain here. Yes, I know. But meditation, concentration is focusing on higher timelines and being there, feeling there, and practicing being energy, being nothing and being everything at the same time. It's a very weird state. You cannot explain to anybody what it is to be in a meditative state. It just feels really nice. And it just allows you to let go. And unfortunately, most of us have to croak, die, before we understand that feeling of not being in a dense, low vibrational body with all this mind chatter going on, making us feel guilty and busy and yeah. Some of us don't have access to that meditation state. And it can be very hard because, yes, you do have a mind and a body. Right. Going back to the wounds. So your wound carries information. Everything in your physical body, and in the coming weeks, 2 weeks, we're going to talk more about and share more about body wounds. I will share graphics with you to make it easier to see what shoulder pains, what headaches, what throat aches, what abdominal pain, what they mean. There's a spiritual soul meaning. Yeah. So it's very important to understand that there is a cause and an effect. And the effect is the physical. But it's actually old news. It's old news. Yeah. So, and that's very hard for people with cancer, for example, to start understanding. It's actually old news. And yes, it's very scary, but if you keep focusing on that, it's cancer and it's scary, it's cancer and it's scary, you will not be able to accept the fact that your cells are recycling, regenerating every so days. And there is switches in your body that you can apply to help that regenerational process to completely heal all your cells. Yeah, we will come to that because it's important to get that out in the world and to have people understand how important and how powerful your own body and your own system is. You have so many switches. Yes, you are not completely dependent on others for healing. You are your own healer completely. So there's the physical. Then we have the mental and the emotional wounds. And if we talk about effects, the effects you can find in your physical life or in your physical body, but they always have a cause on the mental layer, because that means that somewhere you have been triggered in a lower emotion. And your spiritual soul flows through you and helps you to understand what is in alignment, what feels good. That's the higher part here. This feels good. And when it goes under your, well, when it feels low, when you feel that you're being pulled down, when the Trinity pulls down and not up, because upwards, you see in Qigong as well, you make these movements because you connect to the light, you connect to the sun. This is where, this is your heart. This feels good. And when you feel lower emotions, that should tell you it is your spiritual higher self, your God force telling you this is not in alignment with who you truly are. You feel a disconnect. That's why you feel a negative emotion. And it should help you make choices on your path. We should have been empowered by of our old generations to learn to read our own guidance system. But instead, most of our mums, dads, grandparents only learned to suppress negative emotion. It is a part of life. You have negative emotions, absolutely true, but they carry information. Just like they carry information, your wounds, your emotional wounds, your emotional negative emotions carry information. Sometimes you are not old enough physically in life years to transmute, to heal, to work through these emotions. As children, as humans, we have a system where we can suppress these emotions. So when we calm down, when we grow older, when there is peace, we can release these emotions to let them go. Yeah, we can heal these emotions. We can work through trauma. We can work through negative things that we have lived through. But unfortunately, we have very unhealthy emotional. We have a very unhealthy emotional culture. None of us have really understand what it is to grieve, what it is to feel sadness, deep sorrow, what it is to feel complete emptiness, loneliness. Yeah. It most people I know, most people that come to me in coaching, they are very lost because they've only learned to suppress it and not to be with your emotions, to go through it as a life experience that you can learn from, that you can navigate through, that it's okay, that you will become a wiser, stronger, regenerated human spiritual being when you allow these emotions to flow through you. But we haven't been embraced and educated in that way. And I'm very grateful that I'm allowed to work with these younger groups of children now, because that's what we do. We talk about emotions, and they are so wise. Children know, but they start mimicking their parents. They start mimicking the adults who are more lost than they are, unfortunately. And that's what we do. We don't regenerate. Yeah, we stop them. We decompress them. We teach them that you do something, you press that away and you say that you're okay. And children feel that you're not, and you feel it too. So emotional wounds is multiple timelines. And it's very normal to be going through emotional wounds of your past because your younger versions of you weren't able mentally, physically yet to go through these wounds. So you are supposed in the second half of your life to go through these phases that you are literally bringing up all the versions of yourself, and it's like going back into timelines, which is normal. Yeah, because now you're an adult, now you have emotionally matured, you can give words. But I see that children are becoming more and more able to do that. I work with children and I can see it in my own children, I'm sure you do, but we call them ADHD, we call them higher sensitive, we call them all sorts, because they're supposed not to be normal, but they're very sensitive and they're very able to express their emotions and their feeling at a young age, which is very healthy, very healthy. So emotional wounds are always multiple timelines. And if you work through your emotional wounds, if you work with the cycles, work with the equinoxes, and now coming Easter also, you can work through it and shed layers of emotional wounds that you now can let go of. Then, and you can pick up the information that was there for you, that was, I see people really having younger versions of themselves living inside of them, like a younger children, and they can merge with that younger child and pick up and become complete adults, because there was just old information. Hi Hans, good evening, nice you joined. There is just something that they had to go back to pick up. It's something, a behavior or a lesson or a piece of their soul, really, but it's always, it's layered, it's information you're picking up, you're completing yourself, it's healing your blueprint. It's like you can start working with your instrument. It's like you're picking up pieces of your instrument that were nurtured and guided there by your ego, really, because that's your survival mechanism. And healing your wounds means you pick up all parts of you, you dust all the emotions and the emotional wounds off, and you integrate the parts of yourself that you can now bring to the light. It's healing emotional wounds, it's collapsing timelines and integrating parts of yourself into your whole being that activate higher versions of yourself almost instantly. Yeah, it's beautiful work. It's beautiful work. It can be very confronting because going back to pick up the pieces is going back to parts and timelines that you thought you would never think about again and would never feel about again. But that's where the gold is. In the darkest parts of your being, yeah, that's where the gold is. Transmuting dark to light. It's like going into the cellar, yeah, and you're taking the timeline back to your past where you know exactly, you know, when you were hurt, when you were damaged, when you were lonely, those parts. But that girl or that boy is still there waiting for you. It's like time is frozen. Time is frozen. Yeah. And those parts are just there. Those children are still there waiting for you to be picked up and to be carried home. And home is where your heart is. That's where you become whole again. Yeah. And looking at this information, this is where my shoulder, and you don't want to see it at first, you know, it's just a shoulder. No, but, you know, I woke up to all this knowledge and I was pushed on all these buttons that I had to live through it myself, but that shoulder brought me back to my path of healing. Had to go back carrying all that, pick up all that light and that gold and heal myself. Means that I now understand when my shoulder starts hurting, what it means is that again I am coming back into that spiral to again heal another layer of that same theme. And for me, it's always about responsibility, about boundaries, about self-love, about being allowed to say no and to make somebody else responsible for his or her life. Yeah. So we all have these themes, and becoming able to heal your own wounds means that you will first have to become aware of the whole field of you. You have to become aware that, yes, I have multiple timelines living inside of me. If you know, it's sometimes it might be easier to suppress it because you don't know what you don't know until it starts hurting somewhere. And my arm almost fell off. So, and well, at some point, you know that it's deeper levels that you need to be healing. Yeah. It's a deeper level. And sometimes it takes a long time. It takes a burnout and a depression for you to address not only the physical layer, but to go to the core of the wounds and to go find the cause. Yeah. It can take a long time, but it doesn't have to be that way if we can all look at it that way. If we can see that healing is a quantum field, is a not only a holistic field, but it's a quantum field, because I always want to integrate the light to it. You know, if we start working more with the light, the spiritual light, the sunlight, the moonlight, our own light, yeah, it'll become more easier. And what I mean with working with the light is that these emotional wounds and the physical wounds all have a cause in the mental wounds as well. Yeah. What you think about yourself or about the world becomes present. Yeah. Our mind is the most genius piece of instrument that we carry, but it is the most dangerous as well. It is the most dangerous as well, because if your mind is not hooked up to the light, if your mind is not in a spiritual state, if your mind is not connected to the Holy Spirit, yeah, the holy mind, the Holy Spirit means that you have overcome your ego. You have overcome the darkness in your mind. You have overcome the smaller self that is scared, that is afraid, that is only self-conscious and not oneness conscious. You still live in darkness. You still live with your eyes closed. you still live unaware, unconscious. Because you cannot become conscious of who you truly are, of the light, if you are in the dark. You know, if you walk around in a dark room, you get used to it. You understand what I mean? Yeah. And if you get used to living in dark ages, in dark times, in dark families, you become used to it. That's your normal. That's your normal. And I'm sure that a lot of people think they are, I'm not sure, think they are living happy lives. I'm not sure. If I look at it, it's living a half a life, living a 9 to 5 Netflix life. Yeah. And I'm sure that we all understand that once you understand that there is more, that there is more of you, but that there is more of the whole, that we are spiritual beings, that we don't not only have a mind and a body, but there is that sixth sense, and there's multiple senses, and there is multiple layers, there is magic, there is quantumness, there is synchronicities, there is a meaning to your life, there's purpose. But there are people who only think, not feel, that they are just an accident, it's a coincidence, and you live and you die, and that's it. And it's very gray. It's very gray, but it also means that you are attached to the ego personality version of yourself, and that's just the filter. That's just a filter. That's not your essence light. That's not your soul thriving with the flow and the consciousness and the healing, channeling, purposeful, loving energy that you came here to be, to contribute to the whole, to create heaven on earth. You're not here to watch Netflix or to work in an office, and everybody has a higher purpose, and it's not about a career. It is about having healing powers. It is about making somebody else, making yourself whole, happy. It is contributing to the whole. It's creation, it's solution. And I'm not saying that if you work in an office you don't, but you can be very purposeful. The question is, what is the purpose? And if it's just a bag of money, that's not your purpose. That's not purpose. We are here to create solutions, to create harmony, to create a better world. Yeah, I'm sure you understand what I mean. If your mind is not hooked up to the light, but it is living its scripted, imprinted life, you are connected only to your ego lower self. And the ego is always trying to prevent you to be caught, to be disregarded. It's trying to protect you from being exiled. It's trying to protect you from being an outsider. So your ego is always trying to make you part of the whole where you were born into, your family, your culture, your society. So it's externally driven. It's driven to get the validation from the outside world, yeah, from other people. It's not driven, connected to the heart, driven to get validation through the higher emotions and vibrations, where you get the validation that you are okay, that you're doing well, by the feeling good, by the peace that you feel, by the loving energies that you can feel in alignment with. The synchronicities, or the how do you call that, the goosebumps you might feel in meditation, that's been in alignment. That's spirit, that's the quantum world saying, this is it, you're doing okay, this is it, you're here, we're here, you are part of the whole, you are where you need to be, this is what you're supposed to be doing, this is where you're supposed to be going. Yeah, that's your guidance. So it's a complete different guidance system. Yeah, the ego is actually keeping you in the linear world, connected to the path that your parents or the church or your society or your government or what your neighbors think that you should be doing, out of fear, out of fear. So it's always lower vibration. And the only way you can heal your mind, because living in low vibration is disharmony, and that's causing lower emotions, a feeling of fear, of shame. Oh, did I do okay? Am I being accepted? Shall I make it? Will I be okay? Instead of knowing, I'll be guided. I will know what to do. I will know what to say. Show me what I have to do. Show me where to go. I will get my guidance. I will know. I will be pulled in the right direction. If you don't have that connection to the light, yeah, you'll be reaching for validation, and you will be looking for love in all the wrong places. You will misunderstand the concept of love. Love is all these emotions that put you in alignment with the divine. It's feelings of safety, feelings of creativity, feelings of strength, of passion, of connection, of clarity, of having vision, of knowing where to go, knowing what to do. It's that really high vibration, and it's all love. It's a whole language. It's like a rainbow. Yeah. So when all the chakras are open, that's what love is. Love is not a fairy tale. Love is not an emotion. Love is an alignment. It's a relationship. It's a connection with yourself, with your higher self, with your animals, with your co-workers, with your family. Love is a connection. It's an energy. It's high energy. It's chi. It's the God force. That's what love is. It's your source. It's your fuel. It's your chi. It's your food. Yeah. So the mind is it's the hardest thing to heal. And if you've been in my programs, you understand what I know, what I'm talking about. To heal, to flip your script. And which script in my classes, I teach that a script is all the decisions, all the beliefs that you have taken on to understand the concept of life. Who am I in relation to the outside world? Am I okay? What do I need to do or say or be if I want to be okay, if I want to be accepted? What concepts do I need to take on? Oh, I see my parents think and do this. Okay, so if you do this, let's make it a bit general, but for boys, it's big boys don't cry. If you never see your father cry, you take on the belief, and that's a mental decision, that's a mental thought, yeah, that you can start expressing to your own children if you don't look out. But it's a mental thing. It's the communication you have with yourself, with your lower self, because your higher self will never agree. And that's why you get a negative emotion. That way it feels so off. Because your higher self, your source says, no, you're not. Of course you're allowed emotions. That's your guidance. That's you. But if you have heard your parents, who heard it from their parents, big boys don't cry, and you never see your dad cry, yeah, you take on that thought and it becomes a belief, because a belief is just a thought that you keep on thinking because you keep seeing it. Oh, there's something really bad happened. I don't see dad cry. I didn't see mom talking about it. Yeah. So then it becomes, from a thought, it becomes a belief, and from a belief, it becomes a condition. It becomes a standard. Becomes a way you see yourself, you see your family, you see the world. I am okay, and the world is okay. I understand it, I think, if I don't cry. Yeah. And that always puts yourself, you put a block on your energy. You put a block on your life chi. You put a block on your expression. You see, if something happens and I'm very emotional, I'm very sad, but I've learned to suppress that, because that's the only thing that's left when you're not allowed to cry. And tears are the soap of the soul. It's the regeneration system. It's the healing system that's given to us. It releases cortisol, it releases. That's why when you cry afterwards, you feel so tired, but you feel so okay. Because it's healing. It's a healing mechanism. But if you've learned to suppress, it goes down into the emotional body where it stagnates and it goes onto a timeline. Now, having a few timelines to heal is okay, but having a whole timeline of all these stagnated emotions frozen in your system, it's going to cause havoc on your cells. And to be very honest, that's what cancer is. That's what cancer is. And the worst thing is when you get your results and the doctor tells you you don't have long to live. What do you think it triggers? More fear, more beliefs that if the doctor says you die, if the doctor, I'm going to die, it's not even a thought. Within a week, it becomes a belief. Within 2 months, it becomes a condition. And you forespell with your mind the future timeline. That's how powerful the mind is, and scary almost. And if you're completely unconscious of its power and you are not in control, who is? The outside world. What you see and take on from the outside world become your thoughts. That's why I want you to be very, very proactively cautious about what you connect your mind to. Don't read a newspaper. Don't watch the news. Yeah, it triggers fear because your mind is overactive. It wants to understand, so it's going to process that information. Oh, a war, blah, blah, blah. Oh, are people dying? Blah, blah, blah. You don't. It's because it wants to have scenarios for you. Do I need to do something with that? Because your mind doesn't understand that the war is not here. Your mind doesn't. It's just mechanics. It wants to create scenarios for you. Or if this happens, that happens, and you're busy with a drama that's not here. It's not in your world experience, and it might not even be happening. You know, these days we don't know with the news. So be very cautious what you connect your mind to, especially during the first hour of your day, because that's going to predict your day, and the last hour before you go to sleep, because it's going to predict what your subconscious mind is going to think about. You're going to process that. Yeah. So if you want to heal yourself, proactively prevent yourself from having lower thoughts, becoming beliefs, becoming conditions, causing havoc on your emotions, causing physical stress and pressure that you don't need. Yeah, because your mind, and I point here, and we think the mind is here, but your mind is a field. Your mind operates through your nervous system, and it detects what it sees, what it feels, yeah, what it hears, what it reads. It's a data center, yeah, and your mind translated into thoughts. And then thoughts are translated into emotions. And that's where you need to be cautious. If you have a thought and it feels good, follow it, milk it, follow it all the way. Yeah, that's in alignment with what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to be creating, following. Dive it, grab it. If you find a synchronicity happening at that time, and I mean, if you see weird alignments with numbers, or coincidentally somebody comes in and you were thinking this and that person's saying that, not a coincidence. This is alignment with you in the quantum field, with your higher self on your path, navigating through positive vibration. More and more and more and more. You are creating a healing harmonic field. That's where you're in well-being. That's where you feel flow, when things just go and happen. Yeah. But on the other side, if you have a thought and you feel a negative emotion, try to disconnect. Try to disconnect and let go. Yeah. First, try to get from under that snowball effect, because momentum can create flow on the higher vibration, but it can create havoc and snowball effect and a lot of momentum, because you'll find somebody else, something else that attaches to that subject that also feels butt off. Or your mind says, oh, and that can go wrong as well, or that could go happen, or this could go happen. So your mind is a magnet. Yeah. So you want your mind to connect to the light, and you want to create that momentum and flow, taking you to nice places, creating ideas, having visions, feeling that's what we could do, and good, nice things plop up. Yeah. Maybe not all day long, but being in such a state, coming out of meditation, makes it easier to calibrate to that higher part. And what you need to do is start to understand the script of your mind, because it's like a broken record. It's like that old-fashioned record. A script is like your ego's played this because it's becoming your thought pattern, belief pattern, conditioning. Oh, that's where we're going. Oh, that's what we're doing. Your mind got used to that that circuit of thoughts, because that's how you came to understand life. Now, if you come from a really nice background and you've got happy thoughts, keep playing that script. That's what we call a winner script. I'm going to be fine. I am doing well. I'm okay. I'm a loving being. That's a beautiful script. But if you come from a bit of a disabled, hard background, toxic family, difficult relationship, insecurity, anxiety, well, if you have a challenging background, the script that you carry with you is not to be multiplied and duplicated and regenerated. You want to be letting that go. That's the layers that with the next cycle, you need to be letting go of, because otherwise it will keep creating low emotions. And then you have a lot of emotional wounds to heal, which is still okay, but it will also create tension in your cells and in your physical body. Yeah. And the more layers in your script, the more circuits your negative script has, the more negative emotions you will carry, the more negative timelines you will have to heal and pick up, the more cells and parts in your body that have been decompressed, stressed, you will need to heal. Yeah. Okay. So on a mental part, it is flipping the script, but then you first have to know what the script is. It's that voice in your head that you have to take a little bit of distance from. And in my level 1, level 2, that's what we work on, because it is hard work. Yeah. To really get to know your shadow ego self. Oh, that's what I do. That's what I say to myself. That's what I blame other people, or that's where I take over from other people. Yeah. So it is becoming aware of your triggers. It is becoming aware of your stoppers, where you block yourself off, where you disbelieve that you are loved, that you are worthy, that you are important, that you are capable, that you are okay. It's all these negative blocks. There are multiple. I work with 11 stoppers, 11 blocks to help you to recognize them, and then still they are compromised of multiple layers, because sometimes you only block yourself, but sometimes you had to also block off other people, pull out the plugs on relationships with your mother, with your father, because the wound was just getting harder, and that makes it more complex. So your survival mechanism in your script can have very hard layers to identify, but it is possible. It is possible to become aware of your triggers, your blocks, your drivers. That's your ego drivers. That's the conditioning that made you believe that if you do that, or if you pretend to be that or that, strong, perfect, a pleaser, that you would be accepted. And if you are completely attached to this ego, negative, self-blaming, self-blocking part of yourself, you are recreating your own wounds. Do you understand that? Because your script is not only what you scripted in your children's life or when you were a child, but you are repeating it unconsciously, because that's how you came to understand who to be and how to look at life, how to understand life. I'm just not worthy. I'm just not good at that. I'm just not supposed to express myself. I'm just not supposed to do this or that. That's your beliefs. So if you want to hook up to the lights and if you want to heal, let's go back to that. But on the background, this script is playing, saying to you, oh, you won't be able to do that. Oh, you can never do that. Do you understand? We get a wobble in the frequency. You say, I want to heal. But in the back, we hear the voice of the ego say, you are never going to do that. Who do you think you are? Because the ego is nasty. Ego's nasty. Yeah. So those two voices have to align. The ego has to give up its script, its story, and its importance. You have to overcome the ego, because if you give too much power to the ego, and the ego can be very seducing, be very overwhelming and overpowering, yeah? And in most human beings, it's their ego that drives them out of fear, out of unconsciousness, out of unawareness. It makes them make choices that are not healthy, that are not good for them or not for the whole, but they're ego driven. And ego is always out of lack. I'm not going to have enough. I'm not going to be enough. I need to be able to do this and hide that. Yeah. So ego is always active from a place of lack. But if you overcome your ego, if your heart becomes stronger, your spiritual connection becomes stronger, you heal your emotional wounds and you identify your script and you can deactivate triggers. And there are people here who've done my classes who deserve a medal because it's hard work. And in the equinox, again, it allows you to open up your consciousness and it helps you to identify and deactivate these triggers. But that doesn't come alone, because you deactivate and another layer of emotional wound come up, and you have another transmuting process you have to go through. It's hard work, but it is possible, and it will regenerate and heal your cells. It'll help you connect your consciousness to the light, and it will regenerate your body. You will decompress in parts of your body where you carried stress. So I'll explain you. I'm explaining a lot. I have no idea of the time. Okay, I'm okay. Right. The script, your mental script, is your mind is the one, if it's still in control and your heart is not behind the driving wheel yet, it is your mind that signals to the body if you're okay or not, which is very important because you want to be safe. If the mind detects in the outside world that there is a threat, you want your mind to alarm your body and have your body make adrenaline so you can run away. That's very practical. And that's the only tool that it should be allowed to press. When there is an alarm, your mind should be allowed, yeah? If you're truly, truly sure that we're going to be in danger, you can press the red button. And then through the nervous system, your body will be alarmed and it will get the signal that it's not supposed to go into creation mode, having all these lovely serotonin hormones and reproductive hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and having all these beautiful emotions. No, we are supposed to go into survival, which means all the blood, all the energy is pushed out, sucked out out of your cells, out of your all the processes in your body, and pushed in to your adrenal glands. Yeah, they have to produce adrenaline, and all the activating hormones. It depends. It's very interesting. It depends on what script you have that reproduces right the exact chemistry that your body needs to suppress your emotions, to stop certain functions in your body. That's why if you do say you're doing an exam and you're triggered in fear, you're triggered in failure, yeah, you lose all your memory because your heart thinks, this is a test, I'm never going to make it. Your heartbeat rises and all the blood is pulled from your head. So your brain can't function. So you can never memorize what it is you were supposed to do that exam in, because your body is thinking that this exam is a life-threatening situation and it's making you ready to run. That's why you can't reproduce information in an exam when you're triggered in survival, in fear, in failure. Yeah. So it's very overpowering, overwhelming survival switch, which is fine if there's a real threat. Now, if your mind is under control the whole time, so not only in life-threatening situations, but your ego is behind the steering wheel all the time in your life, and for most people that is, yeah, it starts pointing out situations, people, places where things can go wrong, yeah, signaling to your body the whole time that something can go wrong and we're in threat. And that's where the survival mechanism is not just a switch that flips over in thread, but over time, the flip doesn't switch back anymore. And you just become completely living in survival. And most people are, because these days we have an overwhelm in information. We have an overwhelm watching the news, watching horror situations, horror films, having all this information, and your mind doesn't understand that it is science fiction or that is not about you or that is. Do you understand what I mean? So our children, even if they are living in a happy family, they're getting so much toxicity sent at them. You don't even have to have a toxic family anymore to live in survival, because there's just an overload on situations and the mind can't handle it anymore. So there's a constant overwhelm on the body. Yeah. When the body goes into survival, and I really want you to understand that, when your body goes into survival, it decays. Yeah. That's just what happens, because it sends a signal to the cells. We're not in creation, we're in survival. We might be preparing to die. That's what it is. Yeah. So if you don't become conscious of the switches that you have in your body and the systems that your life force can drive out of survival or in creation, living from fear or living in love, living from ego or living from spirit, these are all switches. And listen to the last one, living in a state, in a body on creation mode, processing, growing, life force generating your cells or degenerating, yeah, the body decays and the cells are preparing to die. They believe the signals from the outside. And if you are so fearful and you believe that you are not able to overcome this, that there will be not a way out, that you are not eternal, that you are, and you have all these negative beliefs, you're signaling to the cells that it's better to give up. Yeah. And the last thing, if you live on a glucose metabolic system and you only produce energy from sugar, yeah, you are putting even more survival stress on the body, because in glucose metabolic states, the body cannot release toxins. And the body goes into glucose intolerance. And that means that if you eat glucose, your bread, your pasta, your cakes, your all these things that are actually not that good for you, yeah, your body can't reproduce it anymore, and it becomes stress and even more toxicity on your body. You need to go to be able to switch over and go into ketosis. Now, the reason I say this is that we're going to the end. The reason I'm saying this is that in your cycle, you have the moon and the sun helping you through the seasons, through the moon cycles, to let go of emotional and mental layers. But you also have a physical system that allows you to work with the light. So having enough sunlight will help you let your cells produce more light and rejuvenate. But then your cells need to be in ketosis. If your cells are in glucose production, only getting life force from sugar, they cannot absorb the sunlight. It inflames the body. And that's where people burn from sunlight, because it's a reaction with the sugar in your body. You need to be able to flip the switch at least sometimes. And that's where religion actually teaches us that it was very normal to go into Ramadan, to go into fasting. We have that switch that if we stop the body from producing, from having highly fluctuated blood sugars, and we flip from glucose to ketos, yeah, we start burning fat. And when we start burning fat, we don't become obese, and we start to cleanse out cells completely. If you do a fasting, and I believe it's 14 hours if you fast, that it would completely clean out whatever you've eaten. You don't even have to look at your diet, yeah, but it cleans out your cells completely. So even mental, emotional, physical, food havoc, whatever you have done, the body can cleanse it out itself, but you have to allow it to go into fasting. Having breakfast every day is not a healthy thing. We have, especially hormonal cycles, we have to have a cleanse sometimes, yeah? When we look at the Easter story, where Jesus went and shed layers, he shed the physical body. That's the Easter story. He went through the dark night of the soul. He overcame the mental ego self. He healed his emotional, mental wounds, and he shed layers of the physical body by not eating, dying, going into phagitis, going into a state of letting the cells die. He became enlightened. Yeah, he was showing us what to do to become enlightened. Yeah, and that's where they found him, not alive again, but in a spirit over matter dimension. He became spirit over matter. He overcame his ego self. He overcame his emotional wounds. He healed, and he healed his body by shedding the physical cells. He was showing us how to fast, how to withhold from the seductions of the ego that we don't have enough and that we have to eat. Yeah. And fasting is a beautiful way of becoming mentally very clear, because you have to be stronger than your mind, just like meditation, because it's telling you that, in the beginning it's hard, but then when you overcome your mind, when you overcome your body, it becomes so clear. And you become so clear in your mind, and you become so strong, because the cells have to start to go into a detoxing state and have to burn everything that they have. And that's when they start regenerating. And a lot of diseases start healing after 13 hours of fasting. Yeah, I'm going to share information with you. Just look at it, but it would be very, very beneficial to a lot of people to not only work on your mental healing, your emotional healing, your spiritual healing, to work on the core, to work on meditation or do some kind of form of Qigong, Qineng to connect to the higher energies, but to also allow your body to regenerate, to reproduce the cells. We have this switch from going from glucose to ketose, and it changes our whole chemistry. These are the switches, the mental switches to flip the script in your mind, to heal your emotional wounds. That's where you pick up pieces from the past and heal your soul. Of course, it's also in moving your body and really connecting to nature. That's all little parts, and all of these attributes will allow you to become your own healer. But connecting to the light is so important. But then you will also, it's beneficial. So if you live in a place where the light shines, because I still have to look for the sun where it is. It's supposed to be spring, but I haven't seen the sun yet. The morning light and the evening light tells your body what time it is and to align with normal cycles. So having the sunlight helps your cells to regenerate, helps the melatonin to activate, helps your body to become balanced and live in harmony with the nature around you. Yeah. So if you can, in the morning, don't switch on your phone, go outside, get sunlight. Yeah. Ground, stand on the grass with your bare feet, ground, because the grounding, healing powers of your feet, your soils touching the ground, it is the magnetic power of the earth releasing all these densities, these toxicities from your cells. Yeah, do that for yourself and you'll feel better. Then insert something of meditation, of Qigong Qineng, to connect to the higher Qi, to the higher energies. And last but not least, read into fasting. Even if you do that one day a week, try to build up, do it a couple of times, read into it. It is okay. It means that you have a window where you don't eat, and it helps the body to start regenerating, to switch over in ketosis, which means that you even absorb more light, release more toxicity, regenerate stem cells, reproduce parts of yourself that need healing. It can create healing on all sorts, on healthy gut. It helps to get more clarity in your mind. These are switches that we need to tell our children about, teach our children about. Right. There's always more for me to talk about, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to, this is it. Yes. Before I end, let me know if you have a question for me. And I see a few more people have joined. I hope this was of some information for you that you can work with. Sorry for being late. It's okay. It's okay. Yes, you are in Mexico, different time zone. Very nice to have you here with somebody trading. Not a great session full of insight. You're very welcome. And in the coming 2 weeks, I'm going to share some more information theory on the different healing modalities. If you want to get into your own process, I advise you to pick up the level 1 program. I just posted it in the inner circle. You get 10% discount. Hans and Patricia already have done the level 1. In the summertime, I'm going to start the level 2, and that means really deep dive into your script. So that means we're going to look at your triggers, your stoppers, your drivers, have that whole script and flip it around. We're going to actually work on healing as well. So I'm going to help you get more insights in how your body functions, because everybody is different. Everybody is different. We're going to do some DNA activation. We're going to do some soul healing. So in that level 2, level 1 is creating awareness around the field. Just all the elements we've talked about. I share more of insight so you can actually produce it, and from your own life, you can understand in yourself what your mind does, what your body does, what your spirit, your emotional body. We're talking dimensions. Level 2 is deep diving. It's, yeah. And then afterwards, I'm doing the masterclasses with the Dutch girls who have done level 1, level 2. And that means every month we're deep diving in one subject, really. Yeah, it's for the masters. And yeah, in the Dutch session, we also have an actual event coming up where we see each other. And in the Dutch version, I have the intuitive classes, the workshops, where I have a Qigong Shinang teacher with me. He's teaching me. I'm going to be certified at some point and starting to share my knowledge with you guys. So that means we're not going to just teach. We're not only going to do meditation, I'm going to do Qigong Shineng with you online, live. Yeah, that would be fun. So yeah, the intuitive classes are a lot of fun as well. Yuki, you were there, weren't you, in Holland? Yeah, yeah. So that's a combination of meditation, visualization, a little bit of teaching, and actively in a group. Oh, that's a nice bridge. Thank you from upstairs. In a group, you activate more energy when you do practice, when you meditate together, but when you practice Qigong Qineng together as well, you move the field. So it is connecting to the Qi, allowing the Qi to move through you. But because you do it with so many people, you actually really put a whole field, activate a whole field, and it allows us to vibrate higher. The same thing we do in the inner circle. Because we connect to a field together, it allows us to calibrate to a higher vibration very easily. That's the power of connection. That can be the downgrade of connection as well. Because if you're not consciously anchoring to the light, that's what we're going to do now. We have healing powers. But if you're not conscious of the power of connection and communication, it can quickly de-roll you into drama where somebody else's negativity becomes your negativity. So if you want to take anything away from this teaching, just be conscious. Just be conscious of what it is that you feel. If it feels good, milk it. Follow it. Dive into it, and that's for you. That's something to work with. That's something to duplicate in your life, in yourself. If it's off, listen to that. That's your intuition, and your intuition is your soul, is your higher self. It's spirit. You're getting is your guides. They're talking to you. Yeah. If you don't pick up, don't worry. The signal gets stronger. Your body will start aching somewhere. Yeah. And that's information that you have to look after your body differently. You have to look after your life differently. You have to implement more boundaries. You have to do a little bit more healing to do. Pick up on that information. And if you need help, there's always the inner circle. There's always, I love everybody posting, by the way, and keep doing that. I'm so proud of you guys. If I see everybody lifting each other up, sharing pictures. Patricia, I haven't answered you, but I love seeing your house, your garden. We have friends all over the world now, and it's so nice to connect with everyone. So keep doing that. Share your process, share your questions, share your worries. You see that we lift each other up. We do. That's the power of connection. And only if you only have time for a heart, I sometimes don't have time to answer, and please bear with me. I'm trying to answer everyone, and do help me with, because you are becoming just as masterful as I am. We have a few masterclass pupils here. Patricia, Hans, you did level 1, and you just have to open your heart. So everybody's a master, everybody's a healer. Right, enough talking. I have a little boy to take to bed as well. We're going to finish off with a little healing activation. I'm going to ask you to close off your video just to connect to a different part. We're going quantum, yeah? I'm going to ask you to prepare and close your eyes. We're going to activate the inner circle on a quantum level, which means that we're going to use our energy and our higher self to come into alignment and to connect the higher quantum field, the divine field, with our own field and our collective field here around us in the inner circle. Breathe in through your nose. Hold your breath just a few seconds. We're going to flip the switch and decompress. And let go of your breath out of your mouth. Exhale. And easily breathe in and breathe out a couple of times. In through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And just follow my voice. And just slowly relax. We're going to let go of all the challenging and powerful words that you've just heard. We're just going to connect to the vibration of my voice, and we're going to connect to the vibration of your breathing. Breathe into your nose. Hold your breath a few seconds and let go. And as you exhale, please feel your breath de-stressing you and relaxing you, pulling you down, grounding you into the earth, where you imagine your cord running down your spine, going into the earth, and relaxing your being, connecting you to Mother Gaia. And you come back in an inhale through your nose. And on an exhale, you imagine that same cord running up, 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 connecting your whole being, up, past the moon, past the sun, to the light, where you become one with the Wi-Fi network of the divine. Connect to the power, to the energy, to the chi, to the life force, divine divinity of love. And on an inhale, touch that connection, touch that cord where you just connected, and exhale through your mouth, pulling down all that high vibrational energy along that cord, running down into your field. And feel how it relaxes you and tingles you. Now slowly come and see the inner vision of the horizon in front of you. That's your inner world. I want you to become clear of your inner vision, of the horizon where you see yourself healed as a higher version of the version that you are right now. And it is up to you to choose if it is something you would love to improve, to regenerate mentally, emotionally, or physically. See yourself, feel yourself on the horizon, thinking, feeling, acting, living differently. Try to envision that timeline that you would like to activate your healing energies, the healing powers towards. As you are standing in your now, I want you to become aware of the powerful energy that you hold in your field while being connected to the light above and to the earth beneath. I want you to feel how connected you are in the vibration of this inner circle, where we energetically hold hands, pull each other up, grant each other safety, recognition. We inspire and we can heal each other by sharing, empowering, healing energy, by letting it flow through us. We only have to allow to open up our hearts, our minds, and our bodies, and let the energy flow through us. Inhale through your nose. Hold your breath just a few seconds. And on the exhale, I want you to let the energy flow out of your heart towards the center of this inner circle, towards the horizon that you see in your inner world, your inner vision. I want you to beam that light, that love, that energy into your field through the portal of your heart, focused on the center of this inner circle. Again, inhale through your nose. Hold your breath just a few seconds. Allow more energy to flow through you. And on the exhale, let the energy flow through your system, along your spine, and exit through the portal of your heart, flowing into the field of the inner circle, where you spread your arms out and share your heart energy with the collective in this inner circle. I call for the healing circle to take place and ask to all people on the list of the healing circle to receive and hold the light and the vibration and the healing energy that we as a group are able to calibrate this field to. And as you envision the center of this circle through the connection with your heart, hold the vision of the healing powers taking place and being transferred to the names, the people, and the places in your own field that need healing. May it be the mind, the body, the emotional, or the spiritual field of any of us, or any of the people in the collective, any of the people on the healing list. Let it be done. Let them receive. Let us receive. I invite you to connect and to be in the center of this inner circle, just as receiving as we all are, part of the whole, part of the circle, and part of the center at the same time. Breathe in through your nose. Hold your breath just a few seconds. And one more time on the exhale, allow the energy to flow through your body and exit through the portal of your heart, opening up more powerful energy to connect to through this inner circle, aimed at the center of your being, our collective being. This is the field of high vibration, of healing energy that connects us all. It is the energy that creates new worlds, new timelines, and it will empower visions to become reality. And so it is. So one more time, inhale through your nose. Feel the powerful truth and the powerful energy calibrate you in this high vibration. Feel how it flows through you. It is a knowing. It is a connection. It is so. And know at every time, every place, whatever feeling, you can come back and calibrate to this emotion, to this energy. Slowly breathe in and out a couple of times. Try to spread the energy through your field. Wash it through yourself. Let it clear. Let it nourish. And let it fuel you up and let you feel the vibration of love and light flow through you. The activation of high vibration is the most nourishing, calming, regenerating feeling there is. It is you, it's your higher self, your spirit, talking to yourselves, activating yourselves to know that there is a higher timeline they are allowed to transmute and translate into. Allow this energy to run through you the rest of the evening, the rest of the day, the rest of the night. Know that you have connected to the most powerful healing chi there is. And it is free, it is available anytime, any place, anywhere. The only thing you need to do is open up and surrender and accept this truth. Now take a few moments to enjoy the feeling, the knowing, this connection. And understand that if you have this energy flowing through you, you can spread it out, let it go up and down along your breath, breathing in through your nose, releasing on the exhale, pulling up healing energies again into your field and releasing on the exhale. It's caressing your whole being into a gentle calmness, a peace and awareness of the healing powers that flow through you now. And as you regenerate and heal and activate yourself, become aware that you can place your focus on the horizon of your future or on any place in your field or any place in your body. Direct the energy with your focus. Now let it run along your spine, allowing to heal all the parts of the body as it rushes down and up, allowing it to spread through the body, through all the layers, mental, emotional, physical, clearing out, releasing all the density, all the timelines that no longer serve your highest good. Just let it go. All negative thoughts, beliefs, conditions, emotions, memories, cells, diseases, disabilities, all diseased, toxic relationships, habits. Just let it go. Detach yourself, disconnect, and say goodbye. Shed layers and prepare yourself to receive more light, to hold more harmony, and to find more resonance in who you are. I hope this felt as invigorating and enlightening and energizing as it did to me. I have buzzing energy. I hope you do too. Drink a lot of water. consciously breathe in and out, allowing more release to take place, and try practice this type of meditation, of focusing, of letting go, of releasing over and over again as many times as you wish. Thank you for being here with me tonight. I am sending you all of my love and all of my lights. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for coming back and waving. Love you all. Love you all. Yeah, it was beautiful. I hope you feel that group feeling and how you can create healing circles. That's what we did. That's what we do. We do that together and we align with our heart, and that's what's causing a really powerful vibration. And this vibration, this is what creates your cells to start activating forward in healing motion. It is so. Thank you for being here. I'm going to share the recording on the feed. I'm going to see you in 2 weeks. Maybe in between, I'm going to do a little bit more of videos. I'm going to share writings with you. Thank you very much, Kobe. Thank you very much. I hope you received what you needed, and I'm sure that you will. Yeah. Okay. Take care, everyone, and let me know how this went, how you feel tonight, tomorrow. Yeah. Keep connecting. Sending love. Bye-bye.